This is our first VIP event without our beloved leader, Bob Bartz. As you know, 2 weeks ago, he passed away. And, we lost someone very special in our community who was the chamber president for 35 years. Bob loved these VIP events. He was particularly excited about this event today. And it's an opportunity, and he knew, to introduce the community to important leaders, important programs that really make our community and our economy run, and so important. So he loved and he realized the importance of this. In fact, today he'd be sitting right here where he likes to sit with our event sponsors. So before we start today, I just want to give a moment of silence to our leader, our brother, our loved, our friend, Bob Bartz. Thank you all. If you wouldn't mind standing and being recognized, we thank you so much for your continued service to our community. I know it's not easy. Mayor Wayne Poston, City of Bradenton. Manatee County Commissioner Steve Johnson. And Supervisor of Elections Senator Bennett didn't make it, so I just got that acknowledgement. We also recognize his service to our community. Our sponsors for today's event, and we cannot have these events without your support, Mosaic and Kaiser University. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate it. Okay, we're going to do things a little bit differently today, as some of you all are used to somebody standing here at the podium and running our VIP event from here. So we're going to switch it up just a little bit. So I'd like to introduce, ladies and gentlemen, are delighted to have our representatives from the 2017 World Rowing Championships here today to tell you a little more about how Manatee and Sarasota counties are making history and how you can be a part of the action. So we're going to start out, if you could point your attention or pay attention to the screen up here. We'll start out with a short video before we move on to Meredith and Max, and I'll let them introduce themselves at that moment. Thank you all.
I row for the glory of becoming a champion.
I row for the devotion I have to every person on my team.
I row to get quiet and focus on the sound of my breath.
I row to test the limits of my endurance.
I row for the feeling of 8 moving as one.
I row for the feeling of crossing the finish line.
Thank you very much. My name is Max Winitz. I'm the Media and Public Relations Manager for the 2017 World Rowing Championships. Great to be here today with all of you. Thank you very much, Michael, and to everybody at the Chamber for this warm welcome here today at IMG. And to my right, this lovely lady, who I'm fortunate enough to call my boss, is Meredith Scerba. She is the Executive Director for the 2017 World Rowing Championships. So please help me welcome Meredith.
Is that brownie points he was going for back then?
I'm trying. So I guess it's fair to say that our goal is for all of you to leave here today with a much better understanding of just what this event means for this entire community, both Sarasota, Manatee counties, and the entire state of Florida for that matter. But I first want to start off by introducing Meredith. Again, she is our fearless leader, the executive director for this this major event coming to Nathan Benderson Park this September. So everybody can get to know you a little bit better. Talk a little bit about your background in both sport and event management, where you came from, and kind of what some of your job responsibilities are with the World Rowing Championships.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you all for having us here today, and thanks, Max. We always thought it's a little bit more fun to hear a little bit more of a conversational piece than me just standing up here ranting and raving. But back to your question, I came here a little over a year and 5 months ago from Cleveland, Ohio, where I had been there for 10 and a half years as the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Operations for a company called the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission. And prior to that, I had the privilege of working for almost 4 years for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So my whole career has been in the sports industry. And more specifically at the Sports Commission, our mission is to bring economic impact and recognition to that particular community through amateur sporting events, which is exactly what the World Rowing Championship is doing. It's not a Nathan Benderson Park event. It is a community event, both for Sarasota County and Manatee County, is just as much as it is for the park. And so a lot of my experience, my most relative, is I was the executive director for the 2013 National Senior Games, where we had 14,000 athletes, 27 sports, over 10 different venues. So when you look at that type of scope and being able to execute and manage the different pieces, this is a larger scale event when it comes to level of competition, the television components, and what this means to the community, but very relevant in the same stance. So I looked forward to coming here and bringing some of that skill set to the championships.
And I know you've been here now a little over a year. I've been here going on 6 years now. So what is your impression of the area coming down from cold Ohio?
I won't lie, that was definitely an attractive piece. As I was talking to my friends just this past week, it's -5 in Cleveland right now. But what a welcoming community, and I think that was probably the very first thing I experienced. I live in Bradenton myself, and it's just engaging. It's so much more than beautiful beaches and warm weather. The people are friendly. You feel like you fit right in, and I think that's what's exciting for us, thinking about all of our visitors. We're just going to make sure that that's right on the forefront, that our hospitality that we have in both communities continue to embrace others to come down here in the future as well. Whether that's full-time residents or visitors, that's our end goal.
So let's talk about the World Rowing Championships, and the easiest question to start off with is, what exactly is this event? Just how big is this event for the sport of rowing?
Sure. So good question in the fact that it is the event in the world of rowing in the off years of the Olympics. So all those athletes that you just watched in Rio this past summer on TV are going to be the exact athletes that are here in our backyard. So when you start looking at those that are fighting to be the best in the world to prove, they're going to say they did it in Sarasota, Bradenton. And so that's a really great opportunity for us to really be on the world's map in many different ways.
And these are athletes representing, 60 plus different countries?
Yeah, so we're going to have, if anyone speaks any other languages, we are definitely looking for those to translate. But that is correct. So 60 plus different countries will be represented. 1,700 of those will be athletes. We have an expected 40,000 additional family and friends and visitors that will be coming out to support them. And that's looking at rowers, rowing families, the rowing community across the United States, and really trying to get the local community to be involved as well.
And I've described it to people unfamiliar with the sport of rowing that the World Rowing Championships are the Super Bowl for the sport of rowing. It is the World Cup for the sport of rowing. That's just how large this event is. 40,000 spectators, all not at one given time at the park, but throughout the 9-day period, correct?
That is correct. So we've done a tentative flow of traffic. We expect about 5,000 to 6,000 people per day, in addition to our opening ceremonies, which we're expecting about 8,000 to 10,000, because it is a free and public event for everyone to come out and be a part of the excitement and to kind of get a better understanding of what's to come. We hope it will set the standard for or really set the tone for the week, and so we hope that everyone will come out and be a part of it.
And I think a number that will intrigue this specific audience is the economic impact we're expected to see from this event. Talk about that.
We're expecting a $25 million economic impact over those 8 days. And actually it's a little bit even broader than the 8 days. So many people don't realize that the teams actually come in upward of 13 days prior. They come to acclimate themselves to time and to weather, and they train. So they'll be here in Fort Hamer, they'll be down in Osprey, they'll be all the way up to Tampa in training prior to the championships, and then the course will turn over for them all to come and be a part. So it's going to be a great opportunity for our hotels to be filled, our restaurants to be shown. And one of the unique pieces that we've done to really encourage our visitors to see more of the area is we have a visitor experience committee, and they have spent a good amount of time. It's both the Bradenton and Sarasota's visitors bureaus have come together along with some others to come up with a planned event per night of the week. So we're doing a big featured event on downtown Bradenton. We're doing the beaches. We're doing the breweries. We're doing St. Armand's. We're doing Lakewood Ranch, Music on Main. So there's a lot of different activities to continue to drive that economic impact.
And it's just going to showcase this region. I mean, Mayor Poston, as Meredith said, your baby, the River Walk, is going to be quite an attraction for these rowers, their families, their friends, and all these spectators. The story of Nathan Benderson Park, I know you could go on for an hour about it and how it used to be this gravel pit. But how did it become what it is today, and how did it land the 2017 World Rowing Championships?
Sure, and many of you in the room might even know the story even better than I do, but it has become such a major talking point around the world, and that's what's been unique and really fun. Is you might have seen in the video America's premier course, and that is exactly what it is. So when the vision to turn this into a rowing park after they did a small regatta, they teamed up with both counties and city representatives to take a look at how this can evolve into not only a public park, but a place where we can continue to bring the world to our backyard and compete on a world-class course. They partnered up with FISA, which is World Rowing, which is our governing body to the sport, and they gave a lot of advice on the things that we would need to do, such as extending the course another few thousand meters to make sure that it met the 2,000 meter requirements to make it the only FISA-approved course in all of the United States. So again, that is exactly why it's been 23 years since this event has come to the United States, and it's going to be right here in Sarasota, Bradenton. So pretty excited to call that a featured element.
And another thing pretty exciting about the course is the finish tower, which is a question we've been asked a lot about lately. If you've been out to the UTC area over the past few months, you've seen the structure. It is under construction. What is so great in your mind about that tower, and what can you tell us about a completion date, even though I know that is a park initiative versus a World Rowing initiative?
Correct. We work very closely with the Sanka team in the park that manage the park on a day-to-day basis. We are a part of that staff. But our team alone only focuses on one event because they have 40 to 50 plus events going on. So it's kind of a team effort to make sure that we're getting everything done that's required. And so the finish tower is the only requirement per the FISA bid for us to have in play to execute the championships. So it is under construction. For anyone who's driven by lately, it's looking large and in charge. I can honestly say it's probably one of the largest finished towers I've seen in all my experiences so far the last couple years and seeing other courses. But it serves a major purpose. It is the place, and many ask, is it the opening? Is that where they go and you get to go and watch the event? It's actually used for an operational purpose for the championships. So the first floor is FISA offices, which is our governing body. The second floor will be our VIP hospitality, where we have our sponsors and partners get to go and be entertained. But then the third floor becomes Swiss timing. So timing systems, as you guys watch those, they're all hooked up to different timings so that when every boat goes across the finish line, it's timed accurately because it's such a very narrow margin of winning. They have to have it very accurate. And then the next floor is actually the jury. So there is an officials that are sitting up there that are judging and watching to make sure every athlete is doing their proper piece. And then the top, you'll see a bunch of video cameras and antennas and all kinds of different things that will be coming to play, because this will be internationally and domestically shown on television. We have currently over 10 international partners that are going to give us over 900 hours of live television coverage, as well as NBC Sports here in the United States covering it. So again, we will be on everyone's television sets showcasing our beautiful community.
Let's talk a little bit more. You briefly mentioned it, the difference between World Rowing and Scerba. It's important to point out, I think a lot of people think that you are a part of Scerba, when in reality is Scerba just maintains and manages the park. Talk about the staffing structure for World Rowing, how many employees you have in the office, and how all that works.
So we are actually employees of Scerba. However, again, the staff that's been come on board, we're all contract. So we have 12 full-time members on our team, plus some contractors that have all come in from all over the country. We've got myself from Ohio, we've got some people from Washington, we've got people from Indianapolis and LA that have all come in with a very wide range of experiences, as well as a lot of locals that are coming in just for this 2-year time frame to plan and execute the championships, so that we work on this day to day to day. And so what we've done, and when we started to take a step back to look at what it's going to take, there's a variation. So we have our director of operations who's worked on 2 Olympic Games. We've got our director of marketing who came from Nike brand. So we've been able to pull people in that have got experience doing this in addition to executing. So what we did is created a local organizing committee that brings in the local experts to connect with our staff to ensure that we're giving that local flavor, and obviously bringing on people such as yourself that have the great connection to the community. So between all of those elements, we're able to bring all kinds of experience, the local knowledge, the international expertise. We have one lady who moved here from Germany. She speaks 4 different languages and is handling all of our athlete services, because she knows that a majority of our teams are coming out of Europe, so she can coordinate and execute and work on that international level. So it's bringing in a lot of different things to make it a great success.
And you mentioned the local organizing committee, or the LOC. I'm sure everybody in this room knows the 3 chairmen overseeing the LOC. Tell us about them and how they were selected.
Sure. So actually, a gentleman right in this room helped us select one of them. But when you look at an organization or a local organizing committee, again, you have you need cheerleaders. You need your corporate leaders to help you get the community involved and educated on what's going on. So Manatee County helped us narrow down a search, and Ed Childs was a great ambassador of a lot of the things that we were working towards. So he graciously accepted to be our corporate leader from the Manatee County side. Rod Hirschberger from PGT Industries represents the Sarasota County, and then honorary chair Congressman Vern Buchanan has teamed up. So between the 3, they are our corporate leaders and helping us spread the word, incorporate a lot of partnerships with some different corporations to come on as sponsors, and just help us rally the corporate community. And then our local organizing committee, which we have a few representatives here today, Jay Riley, Dan Schlant, a couple others that I saw here, that help us, again, connect the dots to the community in each of their respective skill sets. And so that's helping us. Our local organizing committee is made up of 160 people that are volunteering their time to help support the 12 staff that we have. So we take their expertise, their ideas, and put them into action. So it's been really, really exciting to have all of those leaders helping us make this happen.
Getting back to the event itself, 9 wonderful action-packed days. For a layman to the sport of rowing, I think it's fair to say, and even rowers, these elite rowers will tell you, that it is not the most spectator-friendly, exciting sport. So what is being done to really attract those who may not find rowing all that exciting, or may not know anything about rowing at all?
Yeah, and I think we're facing a lot of those different scenarios. And the interesting part is that we go to these other championships and you can only see a small part of the course because they're in natural settings like mountains and this and that. That is actually the number one thing about our course that everyone is so attracted to. It is the most spectator-friendly course in the world at this point, other than maybe Chengdu, China, who has a very similar course. But it allows you to see the boats from the start to the finish, maybe not to great detail, but we have huge video screens that are coming in, and we have a lot of commentary that's telling you that's what's going on. So whether you're a rower or a non-rower, you're going to get to understand and get to experience it. And I will tell you that last 500 meters is, if for any sports fan or anybody who has any competitive nature in them, is amazing. And it is literally it's the fingernail length that they're fighting for, and you don't really get a good understanding of it until you're actually seeing them at the last few meters. But we have all kinds of activities and abilities to connect people with the athletes. We're doing we're bringing in some crews of distinction, which is the former Olympians from the U.S. national teams, to bring them in, to talk to them and allow you to kind of learn more about the sport. And again, there's going to be a lot of interaction that gives you some direct touch and feel, which I think everyone is looking for. And that's actually another great point. We started looking at, okay, there's definitely the rowing fans that are going to come out and check this out. There's some that are curious. But here in the United States, we're always looking for some type of incentive-based concept. Like, what is in it for me? And what would draw me out there? So we put a lot of time and effort in looking at the experience as a whole, whether you're a rowing fan or whether you're a non-rowing fan. And so for that whole 9 days, above and beyond the opening ceremonies, we have our Fan Fest that has a stage with entertainment and all kinds of exciting little things that are going to go on there, in addition to a expo area that's going to change every day. So it has a different theme, has a different concept. So even though rowing fans that are going to come out for 9 days guaranteed, they're going to get to see something different. But then it also might be something that you're interested in. If you're a fisherman, any fishermen in here, we're going to be doing a fishing show, a boat show. So there's a day so you might want to come out and check that out. And then you're going to get exposed to this world-class rowing, and I can almost guarantee you're going to turn into a fan, because these athletes are amazing. If you can just see their physiques, and I think you might have seen Scully on the way in, they're big and they're broad and they're strong, and it's just quite amazing to watch them compete. And I think that directly connects people to things that they're interested in and gets them exposed to a really, really unique sport.
And some of the other themes include a pet day, a military first responders appreciation. So there will be something for just about everybody throughout that 9-day period.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to highlight the week. I was actually just speaking about it earlier. The final day of the championships is October 1st. And I think that almost everyone's been touched by cancer in some way, shape, or form. And we wanted to find a way to not just talk about this event and the great economic impact it's going to bring this one time, but how can we leave it as a legacy piece? And so we have teamed up with Susan G. Komen, and we're going to be doing a row for the cure immediately following the championships. So it allows anyone who wants to come out and paddle or kayak or get in a dragon boat, which I think we have a couple dragon boat ladies in the room, and be able to give back. And so all the proceeds of that day are going to go to our local Susan G. Komen to help us find a cure. And uniquely, we've got partners such as UTC region that's going to light up pink. So if you've ever been out there at Christmas time, you know they know how to light things up. So we've got some really exciting things in celebrating something that's important to many.
You briefly mentioned opening ceremonies, and I know there are a lot of surprises, but it's a free event, and just what can you tell this audience about the excitement that everybody should expect to see the evening of September 23rd?
Sure. It is going to be spectacular. It's going to be a really great night that we felt that was important for us to showcase to the world who we are. Who is Manatee in Sarasota County and what makes us who we are. So there's going to be a lot of local representation from entertainment, from the circus, the ski rees, all those different things that make us. So it's going to be a stage, but there's water components, there's air components, there's land components, but it's really just going to be a big festival for people to come out. And there's the first initial part is actually a festival, so it's very interactive. We have food vendors, food trucks on site, some very interactive activities that will go on, And then there's an official actual show where you'll get to see the arrival of the flags from the 60 plus countries. You're going to get to see and hear from the representatives from the world and the federations that will be represented. And so it really, there's some formal pieces, and then we're going to light up the night with fireworks. So again, it's just a great night to come out and be a part of the excitement and show some community pride. And then if you are looking for something a little bit more than a food truck, earlier in the night during the festival, we're doing a wine and dine. And so there is an opportunity, and we have a large number of restaurants from both counties that are going to be there representing, and they've each chosen a country that they wanted to serve food from. So it'll be a international food festival paired with some great wines and beers, and that is a paid event, is the only paid part of the whole event. But if someone wants that experience, there's something for everybody.
Definitely. Talking about tickets, several different seating options during the week of the regatta. Let's just briefly go through each of those, and if you can remember off the top of your head the pricing of those tickets, let's tell the audience here.
Sure. Well, when we started establishing the pricing, we had to stay consistent with the world policies, but we wanted something for every price point so that everyone can come and experience it. So right now, there are on sale our 8-day packages, which is the full event, 4 days, which is the final 4 days, which is the championship side, and then the final 2 days, which are the two final days where they're actually awarded their awards. And those are, they range from $150 for the 8-day down to $60 to $40 in the 2-day and 4-day. And those are for the grandstand. So if you need to get out of the sun and you want to be right at the finish line, that's your best option. But if you just want to put your feet in the sand at Nathan Bitterson Park, we actually have beach seats. So that's something that no other championship has ever had. So we're going to have some cool Adirondack chairs right on the beach. Literally put your feet in the sand, and we're working with a catering company, and they're going to do in-seat service, so you don't even have to get out of your seat for a beer. So how perfect is that? And so we'll have beach seats, and then we have general admission. So if you just want to walk in the door, it's going to cost $10. And we're doing a lot of discounts as well. So for $10, you get to come and you have a great day, full day of exciting experiences. If you're looking for more of a corporate entertainment hospitality, we actually have taken some best practices from the world of golf. How appropriate as we're sitting here at a golf club. But on the west bank of the venue, there's also premium seats right at the finish line on the other side of the course, which is actually where the TV screens will be, or TV cameras will be shooting. And we have box suites, just like you'll see at many of these major golf courses, where you can entertain up to 40 people in an air-conditioned space. And Michael's on East will be catering, and it's a la carte on how you want to do your food catering. So there literally is something, if you want to just come and check it out, to if you want to entertain some clients, we have a little bit of everything.
And then there's just general admission, which is standing room only, but very inexpensive.
$10, yes.
$10. So you can come on in, see all the action, visit all the food trucks, the live entertainment, all for $10 a day. You can't beat that.
Absolutely.
Volunteers, a huge component to this event. How many volunteers are you looking for? How many do you have right now signed up? And what are some of the responsibilities of these volunteers?
Yes. For anyone who's worked in the nonprofit world or been a part of an event, you understand that we don't work without volunteers. This doesn't happen without volunteers. 12 staff members can't be at every single place, understanding that we have 42 hotels, we have 2 airports to cover, one in Tampa, one in Sarasota, and Bradenton, and then we have, of course, the event itself. And so we need 2,000 volunteers to help us execute this event. We're just under 1,000 to date. So if anyone's looking for do something the week of the September 23rd, you get tickets and you get access to the event. Even on the days that you're not working, you get full gear, hat, bag, shirt, food. We definitely take care of you once you're on site, so you never go parched or hungry. And then also a really fun volunteer appreciation party at the end. But what type of skill sets are we looking for? We need people that can help us greet people at the airports and be that friendly initial face. We believe that you are the first and last people that they're going to see. So we want to make sure that front line of defense, shows people that they're welcomed here to our community, that you're knowledgeable about how to give them that right guidance that they're looking for to have a great experience throughout the week. We do need translators because, again, we are working with teams, so they're team ambassadors. We need ticket takers. We need grandstand attendants. We need team area. We need competition people. If you are around the sport and like to be around it, we need boat holders. So there's about 25 different types of things you can do. The beauty of the system that we use, it's an online system, and there's going to be, starting April 1st, the full listing will be on the website. So you can go in and you can choose what you want to do. You can choose the day you want to do it, and you can choose the shift you want to do. That's not always the case in the volunteer world where you just sign up and you get lucky at where you end up. But we've always found that people really have more fun and take it with a lot more pride when they get to choose what they want to do. So that system will be, right now you can go into the website, which is www.wrch2017.com. And under Get Involved, you can enter your name and information into Get Involved. And under that part, that puts you into what we call our interest site. And it puts you at being one of the first people to receive our e-blast when we go out with the positions. Some people want those VIP events. Some people want those other things. So if you want first dibs on any events, it's important for you to go ahead and get into our interest site now so you get it before the public.
And you've been in this industry for a long time now. I'm sure you've had conversations with lots of volunteers over the years. Why to them is it so rewarding to do something like this?
Sure. Yes, I've been a volunteer. I've worked on many. I worked on the Super Bowl in New York as a volunteer captain. I like sitting on both sides of the table because I think it's important to understand the people that come and give their time to help you succeed as an event. And what I have found personally and from others is that this is their opportunity to talk about their community because there's no better cheerleaders than the people that live here. And I think it's important that there's a direct connection between our visitors and the people of the community in a way that they can talk about, where's my favorite restaurant? Or, here's my experience on being here. There's a personal connection that visitors love. And even if you're a sports fan and you go to these different events, you probably like that direct connection too. And that's what these volunteers get to do. They get to showcase what they personally feel and welcome these visitors and show them a great time.
And if anybody wants to volunteer in the media center, I would love to have you because we need them too.
At that point, we have 250 media representatives from all over the world. So there is a lot of management with the media.
Yes. I think one of the most asked questions we get is about traffic, transportation. It's no secret the Diverging Diamond is underway. What can you tell us about what's going on right now at University in 75? Will it be completed in time for the championships? And what is being done to appease the frustrations? And let's face it, in this area, there is a lot of frustration when it comes to driving in this town. What is being done to appease some of those frustrations leading into the championships?
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, it's nice that our event's in September, so it's a little off of the season, so that's always helpful. We have an operations task force as part of that local organizing committee that we mentioned earlier. There's 60 members. That's the largest part of our whole organizing group that all function in different pieces. And transportation is the largest of that group, and they spend a lot of time. The ODOT group is a part of that, or FDOT is part of that as well. So they're giving us regular updates on the Diverging Diamond, and I feel very confident, as many are, that they're well ahead of schedule. So as you know, they're going to be penalized for each day that they don't get it done past, and incentivized for every day earlier. So there's a lot of understanding and definitely a security of knowing that it will be done before our championships, and in time that gives our local community some time to kind of work it out too. So I think that will be very helpful. It is important, the Diverging Diamond is important for us because we have hotels in Lakewood Ranch, we have them up in Bradenton, we have them down in Venice, we have them down at University by the airport. So that is going to be utilized by a lot of our visitors. To understand a little bit of the scope, because that has been the number one question that people have asked me every time I speak. oh my gosh, this is going to be a lot of people with a lot of traffic. And there is going to be increased traffic, but just to understand that there are some things that we've taken into consideration to ensure that we're not affecting your day-to-day in a great length. And just 1,700 of the athletes are on bus system. So they're coming to and from airports, to and from venue, and the hotels on a bus. So it's not 1,700 extra cars. It is definitely going to be concentrated within our bus system. And we have a very professional company that's handling that and working through that. We also have all of our family and friends that are going to be coming in. Europeans are used to biking it. They're used to carpooling. So that is actually a big incentive for us as well. But then some of the other factors that we can control are that we actually have it's getting ready to get released in the next 2 days, the actual competition schedule. They don't start competing until 10 in the morning. So for those morning traffic plans, you don't have to worry about them and the extra amount of traffic coming into that area that you're trying to get to your 8 o'clock, and you're going to get backed up with a bunch of cars. We also are finished well before 5. So the time window of our competitors and the extra people coming in and out of that UTC area will be at different points. There's also a traffic engineer working directly with Manatee and Sarasota County transportation systems to make sure that lights are coordinated and knowing when those mass numbers are going to be coming in and out of the park. So this group is thinking of all the different things that it could take. So knowing and understanding, we're working around that to ensure that we're not creating a lot of havoc to the local community, because we don't want you to look at this as a negative. We want you to be excited and come and be a part of it. So it's very important that we take those things into consideration in our planning.
Another issue that a lot of people are asking questions about is safety and security. What is being done to address those concerns?
Sure. Again, that same operations committee, and we have 2 really fantastic response teams from both Sarasota and Manatee County, but we have done 2 different levels. So we had Homeland Security come in. They did a full assessment of the park. For many of those who don't understand, that's a 600-acre piece of property. 400 of it is the water, but we're directly access to the 275, and there's neighborhoods all around us. So there's a lot of things that we're looking into to ensure that not only is the community safe, the athletes that are coming in are safe. So there's a big dynamic there. So we have the Sheriff's Department involved. We have a private security firm that was just awarded by our staff that will come up with all the planning and execution in coordination with the both county sheriff department and Homeland Security to ensure we have security plans that are in place. So our boats are going to come in through the Port of Manatee. They're going to come in through the ports in Fort Lauderdale, tracking across the state. We have those being checked as they come in. We are going to have wanding systems coming into the park. We're not going overboard because right now we're not at risk. This is not an event that have a lot of risk factors. But when you are taking a look at all these countries coming in, we want to make sure people feel safe. And there's a lot of protocol that come into play. So we've been working very hard in making sure that, to that point, we also, it's actually kind of a fun exercise we're putting our whole staff through, as well as our local organizing committee. They're called tabletop exercises, because if anyone hasn't really thought about it, it's September, and there's something that happens in September in Florida called hurricanes. So it's an outdoor event, and we have to think about those type of things. So in these tabletop exercises, we have everyone from security to medical to crisis communication to everyone involved, our whole staffs, and we sit down and we create scenarios of some of the things that are like the worst that could happen. Hurricane, some kind of bombing, anything that could happen, and we actually walk through exactly what would happen. We hope and pray none of those things happen, but if they do, you have to be prepared. And a few years ago when I was at the Senior Games, we were well down our path of planning, and 3 months before the championship happened, the Boston Marathon bombing happened. And it really helped me understand what type of things you need to put in place and what type of things. We don't want to think after the fact. We want to be well ahead of it. So thinking through and planning for those things to be preventive is the most important piece. And that's exactly what both of these teams are working on.
And just a couple more questions before we open it up to a Q&A. What do you think this event is going to mean for future events taking place at Nathan Benderson Park or this area as a whole? due to the magnitude and this name, the World Rowing Championships. What do you think that's going to do for all future sporting events for Sarasota Manatee?
Sure, and I think it's on two levels too. The reason you go after these events again are to bring people to the community and create, at the end of the day, 40,000 ambassadors of who we are, and that's really important. And we've looked at this, and I'm looking over at Dan because I know he knows what I feel, but it's a lot of a work in progress and kind of bringing two counties together, plus an organizing group, and really trying to build a foundation of what this means to put on a large-scale event for the community. And so hopefully we've created a foundation that can only be built upon for years to come, considering in 2018 the World Masters Championship will be here, and in 2018 the NCAA Division I Championship will be here. And I think it's important that we start taking a look at what are the goods and bads and uglies of putting together a large-scale event so that we can build that process. And from a world perspective, I guarantee you we're going to put on the best show ever, and they're going to continue to want to come back. And I think that's why the investment was made to build this park, and the investment for all the partners that are coming in for this championship, because they want it to keep coming back, and they want this to be a continued economic impact. And that's what we're building. And that's a reputation from a brand to the experience itself during the championship. And it will only become easier. We're just building that infrastructure now, which has been a really great experience, and I think it's going to be great for years to come.
And finally, I'm going to put on my my reporter thinking cap again for old time's sake. What would you say has been the most difficult part of your position, and what has been the most rewarding part?
Sure. I think it was interesting coming in from Cleveland. There was always an expectation that there's always large-scale events. It's back to back to back. I mean, it was expected, and there was an understanding of what they were. When I came in originally, I kind of just went straight ahead, and I was like, okay, everyone knows exactly what's happening, and they're all going to jump on board. And about 2 months in, I said, whoa, okay, I need to take 10 steps back and realize that there's something that needs to be done called educating them. Because I was getting nothing but, this is just more traffic, this. And I was like, wow, I was kind of surprised by the fear of the event more so than the excitement. And I think that's when we looked at our local organizing committee and said, we need to get out in the community, we need to educate people on what to expect and really spend the time necessary to help them understand why we're so excited and why the park's excited and the counties are excited, but we wanted the people to be excited. So I think that was a little bit more of a challenge than I expected, but once people started hearing what it was and how they could be involved, it's not just this thing going on at the park. It's actually a really unique experience. A good example that we're trying to get out into the community is we have a lot of young people in both counties that we want to expose to this international cultural experience. So we decided we were going to create an adopt-a team. It's a best practice that we've seen in a couple other championships, but we went out, we're going to have 2,000 elementary kids, 2,000 middle school kids, and 2,000 high school kids coming out to the park to experience the event. But more importantly, prior to them coming to the championship, they get to choose a country, the school's going to choose a country, and they're going to there's curriculum being built for them to learn about the country in the school. So they're going to have something. Think about how many people get to go overseas. It's not a big percentage. So they don't understand what is a passport. What do you mean they speak a different language? And so we want to give this as an opportunity to expose our young people to something that's going to be right here in their backyard while they can. And so it's things like that I think we are able to connect the dots. So it wasn't about just the event itself, putting on this championship, but trying to sell. I think that's been a challenge, is like trying to sell people on, why are you talking about adopting a kid's Meredith? Why are you not just planning a championship? And what they don't realize is it takes that to create the full atmosphere for everybody. And so I think it's just taken a little bit more time to educate people, but I think we're there. Actually, I know we're there, and which we have to be there at this point out, but the excitement is there. The people are behind it, and I've just been amazed by all the groups, between an arts alliance, between USF, between the Port of Manatee. We're really talking to a lot of different people and getting them to be a part of this rowing event. Even if they don't care a thing about rowing, they're now a part of it.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, success. I love it. Well, not only that, but it's been a lot of fun. One of the main reasons I left a job after 10 and a half years to take this different challenge was because I really wanted to come down and really put not only my own skill sets to the test, but I love meeting new people. I love being in a place where I can learn something. And not only have I learned a lot from the event, but I've learned a lot from the community and the things that make it tick and the things that they're proud of. And now I feel like I'm a part of it. And I'm just excited about a circus, and I'm just excited about and talk to people about the different things that are happening in our community. And now I'm a part of a new community after being in one place for 15 years. It's kind of fun, and I've really enjoyed it, meeting new people.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we hear from Meredith Scerba, please? All right, show of hands. If anybody has any questions, Meredith would be happy to address them. Sir with the black suit.
I have a voice that carries. Is this loud enough?
Perfect.
I'm George Schofield. I'm based in Lakewood Ranch. I'm the virtual CEO of 3 overlapping businesses. I've got 15 contractors doing projects for me, strung up from Sicily, thank you, to San Francisco. So I'm in awe. Some days it's like whack-a-mole for me. And I'm totally in awe of what you're doing. Congratulations. So I'm also married to a woman who ran large nonprofits for years. And I was accustomed to waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I could tell by her breathing whether or not she was problem solving and doing the budget in her head again. So my question for you is, what's especially waking you up at night, and what kind of support do you as the leader need?
Great question. Yes, I'm the one that has a notepad next to my bed, so I get it. I think that we are at a place where we do want to get the community involved. I think that's where we're ramping up now to physically be on site, whether that's coming and being a vendor to be able to promote your product, whether that's becoming a corporate partner to be able to be exposed on the world's stage. I think that we're still looking for that final push for partnerships. I think that's always everyone's fear is, the financial component. But I have zero fears of people having an amazing experience, and that's secured. But I want to make sure that we are able to give them all the bells and whistles that we hope to do, that will make our event something to become that will hold the standard for all the championships to come in the future. So we're looking for additional partners. Great question.
Sir.
As far as the American rowers, are they coming from like clubs, colleges? Where are they all coming from?
Yeah, great question. So they are the U.S. team. So they come from all over the place. And the interesting part about Olympic athletes is they range from the 16, 17, all the way up into their 30s, mid-30s. Some have families, some have children. So it's a pretty broad range of ages for the athletes, because I know that was always kind of an interesting question to me. And I do want to make sure that I kind of give the kudos that they deserve, but the U.S. team is actually one of the strongest teams in the world. The women's 8, so for those that aren't familiar with the rowing terminologies, there's the 8 boat, which is the 8 rowers. Then you have a 4, which is a quad, a 2 is a pair, and single scullers. And the women's 8 are a dynasty. They are 9-time world and gold medalist champions in a row. So if nothing else, come out and cheer on our ladies. We hosted a big event September 23rd at the park, where we revealed a local sculptor came on board and did a countdown clock for us. And what was really unique is that we had Amanda Polk, which was one of the women from Rio who won gold, and she came in to speak and kind of get people kind of excited about. And I tell you what, she had everyone in the room and have chills from head to toe. And it is fun to, not hearing from me, but hearing it from the athlete. Because she had, 300 people out there chanting USA. And it was because, again, first time in 23 years that this is on American soil. And when you think about these world championships and Olympic games, they're all over the world. And it's not very... it's not always easy for these athletes, parents, and families to go and see them at all their championships. So the excitement that the team has, the U.S. rowing team has about people and their family being able to come and watch the competition here in the U.S. holds a lot of clout for a lot of people. So, so they're from all over, but they are on the U.S. official team, just the same as Great Britain and Germany. They're representing the world, so they are. They have to qualify, which for many people are asking. They're currently going through qualification. And I was speaking to some people earlier, and it's kind of unique in the fact that rowing is a little different than other sports. I was a college swimmer, and it's me and the clock. You put your head in, you go, you get team points, but it's really more of an individual sport. Where in rowing, they actually qualify the boat. So even though you are in the boat when it qualifies to go to the Olympics or to go to the World Championships, that doesn't guarantee you a spot. So you can only imagine the competitive nature between these teams and how hard they fight and train to be able to be the one in the boat to get the gold. And so they're currently going through team training and their placement now and through April, and then they'll start training and getting prepared and coming to compete in September.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Just real quick, thank you very much for your enthusiasm and talking here today. And one tactical, kind of a specific question.
Sure.
Will people be parking on the Nathan Benderson site? I know a lot of events, they park on the island now, and there's some back. Just was curious.
Great question. That's definitely another one along with transportation. So parking. So if you're familiar with the venue at all, or even if you're not, you might be familiar with UTC Mall. And if you've been passing down 75, you see that there is a big circus tent on that north side of the park. There's almost 4,000 parking spots within that space alone, and it's walkable from there directly over to the venue. So we have currently secured all of the parking that will be used there that's been committed by Benderson Development and UTC Mall that will be lined, and it's hard. So even if we have rain, it won't be a mud bath. So parking will be focused at that. That is our first option. If we have overflow, and that would be a great problem to have, we do have parking in the south, part of your world down there at the FBL. So we do have plenty of parking. That's not a question mark at all. So if you park on that north end in our parking area, then you can either walk directly across, which we have had multiple people, multiple ages, and multiple abilities do it so that we can test it and see how it feels. For just a normal leisure walk, it takes about 8 minutes from the parking lot to our front gate. But if you don't feel like walking, if it's a hot day, or if you have an ailment that can't get you to walk, we do have golf cart systems. They're kind of like tram systems that will be taking people from the parking lot to our front door. So you have multiple options to be able to get to and from your parking to the front door of the venue.
All right, last question.
Hi, my name is Dawn. I'm with the Manatee Chamber of Commerce, and my question is regarding hotels. Are you going to have the hotels have a certain block of rooms set aside specifically for the event? And any suggestions on what we tell I guess you might say the general public, who will still be looking to come down here for vacation, and they're not going to find anything available? So what's your thoughts on that?
Sure. So we have 42 hotels blocked. 26 of those are committed to the teams, so there's team blocks within those. And then we have additional fan blocks, and they're already blocked. We have about 43,000 room nights blocked. But don't worry, Sarasota, Manatee County has plenty of rooms. Plus, we have a lot of new hotels that have just come on board. So there's plenty of room for additional people to come into town, but we do have a large block of rooms already secured. The team hotels, why I bring those up, are important because we do transport the teams to and from there. In addition to a very unique factor is that not all of our hotels are full service, and we are required to feed the athletes breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. And let me just give you a little sample of how many calories these rowers eat a day. 6,000 calories a day. So our caterers are going to be busy. So we are actually creating temporary kitchens in some of those non-full service hotels to be able to accommodate the teams. Right now we're seeing there's plenty of fan base or fan blocks that are available as well, and we're encouraging people to come and be a part of it. There's most of the teams and their fans are waiting to see if their families make the team. So we're going to see a major spike in April. So if people are trying to get their rooms blocked, I would encourage them to do it now.
right, thank you very much, everybody. One more little surprise for everybody. You may have seen him on your way in, but he just flocked here from, there's a little island at Nathan Benderson Park. They call it Bird Island. It's basically a rookery. But he just flocked here. He's a little bit tired, but he still has time to take photos with you for your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Bird Island, please welcome Scully.
And if you want to wear some cool gear like him, feel free to come by our booth as well. We are selling merchandise, which is online sales, but we can show you examples and so forth. But welcome, Scully.
And
Little word.
in addition to taking photos with Scully, you may have noticed there are mugs or some brochures in front of your plates. That's for you to take home, read up on how you can help get involved. And I speak on behalf of Meredith. Thank you very much again to the Chamber for having us here today. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Max, Meredith, and Scully. We